Hey everyone, this is Amos Bilo, and I'm here with Josh Johansson, who was a participant and he succeeded in completing the 6-week anchored boot camp with the Christian group of guys. So I have him here to just tell you guys who he is, why he did it, what he experienced in it, and what he accomplished, what he's looking forward to, all these things. So Josh, thank you for being here.
Currently living in Sioux Falls, been here since 2012. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Jen, and we have 4 kids. I currently work at Showplace Cabinetry, building cabinets. And I've lived quite a few places, including North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, and Los Angeles for a while, because my dad was a pastor, and moved, and we changed churches a few times. So,
What were some of the main things going on in your life and the main challenges that you wanted to take a look at?
eating habits was one thing that I knew was something that I was struggling with before, joining the class. Exercising regularly, and just kind of overall communicating with people, including at work and outside of work as well. Just kind of the communication I thought was something that I could experience. There was room for improvement.
So eating habits, exercising routinely, consistently, and then also communication inside and outside of work. Okay, how long has it been that way?
I'll say that the food is pretty much my whole life. My mom was an excellent cook, and then I also made an excellent choice of marrying somebody that was an excellent cook, which is good to eat good, healthy food, but sometimes when it tastes really good, it's a little too easy to eat too much of it. Which
Sure.
which is something that's covered in the class for anybody listening that might be thinking about joining it. Let's see. The socializing probably happened. I made some poor choices in my life that kind of put me in some difficult situations, and I think kind of the socializing struggles stem from back in my past, after elementary school. Things that stemmed way back to that time in my life. And she wasn't one more. Oh yeah, then exercising. Probably once I got into high school and started playing video games way too much is probably when the exercising started to not become as important as it should be in my life.
These things have been going on for a long time, from childhood all the way up through high school into now. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
How did that affect you in your life?
Well, with the eating habits, which I learned from the class, I probably don't want to reveal too many of your secrets, but how like your eating habits can affect your sleep. Because I also haven't been sleeping great. A lot of times waking up just not feeling great. And from some of the advice that I got from your class about like how much to eat and when to eat and what to eat, it seems to help. With getting up in the morning, not eating at the wrong times and the wrong amounts at the wrong times, which you mentioned affects sleep, and I've definitely noticed a difference in that. So one example there. Oh, see,
What about growing up, like through high school, through college, and then through young adulthood? Since it's been affecting you for that long, the food, the exercise, and the social stuff, how did that end up affecting what was happening in your life?
I would say that it probably had an effect on like probably career goals. Because a big part of getting into a career and moving up in a career is being positive, being healthy, socializing well with others. And since I struggled with those things, it's only logical that it had an effect.
Sure. Okay. So career goals didn't really set them as high. What else
Yeah.
was going on? How else did it affect relationships, connection to God?
Yeah. Probably times with my wife where we weren't communicating as well with each other as we should be. So yeah. I mean, it's always excellent to communicate with if you're married. It's having good communication with or in a relationship. Communication is very important. And since I struggled with communicating and saying how I was feeling or thinking or sharing emotions, uh, that could lead to friction within the relationship. Just not communicating as much with my parents, especially like after high school. Didn't really talk to them a lot, or just kind of touch on personal things. Just kind of became kind of more of a kind of private when it came to emotions, and I can kind of see that in some of my family background too, kind of carrying over to me. And it's always a good idea to have good communication relationships with parents and siblings, probably in ways that weren't the most effective.
Why's that?
Well, guess they didn't work. But I mean there were some things I can think of in my past, but I don't want to get too personal. But
Why do you think they didn't work?
it wasn't the right approach. It wasn't an effective approach.
Okay, so now understanding that there were some things that you wanted to work on, communication, eating, exercise, they've been that way for a long time. What were your thoughts on doing something like this, like the coaching and the boot camp, before you jumped in?
I'm a bit of a skeptic. I was kind of negative, like whatever. I don't want to. It's kind of yeah. So I was kind of not overly confident in it, not necessarily too excited about it. At first, when I heard about the program.
Okay, what changed?
My wife gave me some encouragement. Thought it would be a good idea, and I had a feeling that there would be some other church members, local guys from the church, and it's been on my mind for a while that it would be good for me to have a better communication with other Good Shepherd members. And there were other guys there that were not in Good Shepherd that's been really good to get to know as well. So that was something on my mind.
Okay, cool.
As kind of a positive. Help me agree to do it.
Gotcha. Okay, so you came in kind of like a skeptic, not really enthusiastic or confident, but your wife encouraged you. You gained the encouragement from that, and then also there's Christian guys that you could connect with, both in the church and outside the church, that we go to. So awesome! I'm glad that happened. So now, having entered into this boot camp, what was the experience like going through it?
It was excellent. I really enjoyed it. It's going to help. It's opened up my mind to a lot of things. It's made me feel more. It's kind of more overall positive, overall confident. Just kind of a more positive outlook for the future. Positive perspective of the present as well. To kind of being grateful and happy with the blessings that I have, instead of always wishing and longing for other desires I may have for the future, which I still have desires for the future, but you don't want to focus on it so much to where you can't enjoy life in the present.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great to hear. All of that. It sounds like good stuff. And how do you feel now in regards to the health, the food, the exercise, and the relationships?
Much better. I've seen positive improvement in all three of those areas. So
what kind of improvement, or what do you mean by that?
Well, the one thing I touched on was the the sleep, and then just energy throughout the day. Like I said, I don't know how many secrets of yours you want me to reveal, but eating I'll try to be as general as possible. Eating the right amount, at the right times of day, because food gives you energy, and eating the right things. I have a lot more energy while I'm at work, and then there's even some energy left over for when I'm off of work to spend with my family. Whereas before, a lot of times I'd come home and just be ready to crash and not do anything for the rest of the day.
Yep.
easy to make excuses. Oh, I've been on my feet all day. I don't want to go in the backyard and, play with the kids or, things like that. So just making those, changes, I guess, just exercising in general helps with that energy too. So the food and the exercise is, related in that regards, having energy throughout the day.
Okay. And obviously we had a chance to exercise together, locally together, but what was that like, both exercising together as a group, but also throughout the week?
Well, at first it was kind of, like the first couple times it was kind of, I thought I was in better shape than I really was. I know there were some guys in the group that are regular gym guys where I haven't really gone to the gym much. There's been a couple times where I've done some exercising, mostly with my wife, but then whether it, something throws it off, either a vacation throws it off or I get sick and then I get out of the routine. So it was really excellent to get back into a, excellent exercising routine. But yeah, I guess at first it was kind of disappointed in myself for not being able to keep up or do as much as some of the other guys, some other guys that I kind of thought that I might do. But then as I feel like as the time's gone on, I've kind of gotten whipped into shape that I've kind of held my own a little bit better. I remember writing this down one time in a class that for one of my goals was I wanted to be an overall more positive person and have my wife notice it, and she's definitely made some comments over the last couple of weeks about I've seen a change in her based on me being more positive. And then
Awesome.
at work too, I've also seen progress at work too, having some just having the more confidence to just speak up and communicate with some superiors and other coworkers that has led to good progress in that area as well.
So good. Okay, so now we're starting to talk about how other people are noticing this and how it's relating to now your work life and how you're interacting with them. So how has the work that you've done and how you feel now, how has that been impacting and affecting your family, your kids, your wife, your work, other people in the church, connection to God?
Yeah, the kids seem to be happy and behaving well and just kind of feel closer, more connected with them recently. Um, and the connection with God a lot of that comes back to the gratefulness and being grateful for the blessings that I do have that God has given me. And kind of realizing that and being thankful for everything that I have instead of focusing on either negative things that I've gone through in the past or focusing on, oh, I wish I had this, I wish I'd be able to do that. So on the spiritual front, the gratefulness is a big part of that change over the last few weeks. Well, my wife looks forward to continuing as soon as our final exercise is over here in the very near future. We're looking forward to getting up every morning and exercising together and just communicating more, sharing our emotions, sharing our dreams for the future, working together as a team going forward, especially with the kids, how to handle different situations.
What was the most important thing for you in achieving your goals and what you were coming in for during this boot camp?
Motivation, the most to getting through and completing everything, and some of that motivation came from peer pressure. I'm at the guy, a lot of the guys that are in the group kind of knew me a little bit and knew my family, knew my wife, knew me as a church member, and like if I wasn't or just if I wasn't completing what I was supposed to be completing or showing up, it would be, I personally would feel kind of embarrassed by that.
Sure.
For like I know I missed I missed one meeting that I told you about and had a really good reason for it because it's spending time with the family. But
Right.
so which I didn't feel guilty about because you talked to me about how wonderful it was that I was spending time with the family. So that was kind of and that's a like a good a good message that you shared, in the groups about, like, if you do miss something, or if you feel like you fail, don't get down on it, just learn from it. you know
Absolutely. Okay, so you're kind of held accountable by this group, the group
Mhm.
format. You got Christian guys that are going to show up. So I want to show up too.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So accountability. And then what would you say then to other people who are putting off doing something like this, who are putting off fixing their problems, whether it be from middle school or from college or from recently, um, and the things that they're frustrated and not being able to show up for their families?
um, I would say having a good support group, having a group of friends, having, is extremely powerful and important in, becoming a more confident, stronger person, um, better Christian. Did I say responsible already? um, having integrity. It's just, being alone or feeling like a loner, or being alone is very difficult. And so having people to talk to, that you can share things with, even personal things with, it helps a lot.
Awesome. Okay, so find a group that can support you and that you can talk to, and have integrity, which means do what you say you're going to do, follow
Mhm.
through. I love that. I love that word, integrity. And you've given us great stuff, Josh. I appreciate working with you. I appreciate the work you did. You really showed up for yourself and for your family and for God. And um, I'm happy to know you. Happy to continue working with you in the group format, like you talked about, continuing to support each other. So
Thank you.